Well, brothers, I'm tired as hell. Still watching the Nebraska-Colorado game. It is 28-10 with 2 minutes, 34 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Shadur Sanders is sitting on the bench. His night is over. He took a beating. 5 sacks on the night. 5 fucking sacks, man. And that offense, the Colorado offensive and defensive line are absolutely dreadful. Dreadful. The Nebraska offensive line just completely mauled Colorado's defensive line. And the same thing can be said, the Nebraska's defensive line absolutely mauled Colorado's offensive line. Just Colorado was completely dominated in the trenches. The game, it felt so insurmountable for Colorado. You sensed impending doom from the first touchdown. Like just this dread, this sense of dread, this sense of doom. Almost like there's no chance, there's no shot. And then towards the end of the game started getting sloppy with all the bullshit penalties, all the ejections. It's just, I'm not a fan of all these bullshit ejections. This is football. Let the kids play. All this like adding extra protection, and this is the risk you take when you play football, man. They need to get rid of all this shit, targeting, leading with the crown or the helmet and all that shit. Man, this is football. Fuck all that. But I digress. The Colorado Buffaloes, they got the skill positions. You know, they got the quarterback. But this is a prime example for everyone that is just now getting into football, who they want to understand the game a little bit better. Watch Colorado. Colorado needs to be studied. Like, this team's makeup needs to be studied. You can have all the talented skill position players you want. You can't do a goddamn thing if you can't protect your quarterback and you can't get to the quarterback. You can't do a goddamn thing. So if you want football 101, you need to build from the inside out. Colorado and Deion's philosophy was build from the outside in. And then you have to be able to develop talent. You can't solely depend on the transfer portal. They had over 40-something transfers come in, Colorado. You cannot win with that many mercenaries on your team. And yes, I call college football players mercenaries because that's what they are now. They're getting paid. They're getting paid. They are paid mercenaries. You cannot win like that. You have to be able to recruit talent and develop talent. It's almost like you got to think of it as in terms of like NFL free agency. You cannot bring in these high-priced free agents and expect for them to turn your team around. You cannot do that. You cannot win like that. It may be effective short-term. Prime example, my Texas Rangers. My Texas Rangers, they bought a lot of talent, and it worked for them in the short term. They had great success. They won a World Series last year, but look where they are now. And they got lucky with that. Normally, when you buy all that fucking talent, you don't become a champion. You don't. It hardly ever happens. You have to develop in-house talent. You have to recruit. That means in the NFL, you have to draft very well and cultivate that talent. In college, you have to recruit. And brothers, there's another thing. Deion Sanders seems more like a cheerleader on the sideline than actually coaching out there. There was a period of time where he took off his headset. Oh, what happened? Did they just fumble or get a pick? I don't know what happened right there. But Nebraska got the ball. Hold on, let's see. Staub is in the game for Shadur Sanders. Oh, it was a fumble, and Nebraska recovers it. The game was already over. But getting back to the topic at hand, Deion Sanders looks more like a cheerleader out there than an actual coach. He took off his headset, and it's like he never uses that goddamn thing anyway. He never uses his headset. Brothers, if you pay attention to Deion Sanders, it doesn't look like he's coaching out there. It looks like he's just cheerleading his son out there. Look at him and look at Matt Rule, the head coach for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Matt Rule is engaged. He's actively communicating through the headset to his players. You don't see that with Deion. Deion will take his headset and then go over to the bench and give the team a pep talk like a goddamn cheerleader. No, man, that's not how it works. That's not how it fucking works. This is terrible, man. And I told y'all last week, you can see the writing on the wall when they barely beat North Dakota State. And you got all these people in the comment sections, all up in the videos, talking about North Dakota State is a powerful FCS school. They're a top-tier FCS school. They should be FBS. They're a top-tier Division I program. They're a football powerhouse. I'm like, bro, they are a goddamn FCS school. They can beat middling to the lower class FBS schools. They can do that. But an average FBS team will destroy an FCS school, will destroy North Dakota State. Nebraska, which I don't think is like the greatest football program, would absolutely kill North Dakota State. And you can see the evidence is right here. They're destroying the goddamn Colorado Buffaloes. The game is over. 7 seconds left. 28-10. The game should have been even worse, but due to sloppy penalties and bullshit like targeting, like all that shit, it looked closer than it should have been. This game should have been like 40-something to 10, like maybe 50-something to 10. Nebraska was just sloppy in the second half. Nebraska was incredibly sloppy. They took their foot off the gas because they're like, we're better than this team. We're already up. And they just became sloppy out there. I told y'all the writing was on the wall last week when they barely beat North Dakota State. You can't celebrate a win like that. You can't celebrate a win like that over an FCS team, because as soon as you go against a competent or somewhat average FBS team, you're going to get your doors blown off. That's what happened today. I expect Colorado to beat Colorado State next week. But as soon as they start delving into their Big 12 schedule, they're going to get destroyed. They have to play Utah this year. They have to play Utah. They're playing Baylor. They're playing Texas Tech. They're playing they're playing UCF. The Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders, they will be lucky to win 4 to 5 games this year. Just being honest. They don't have the offensive or defensive line to compete. They don't have it. And then Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball. Son, I understand. You think you have all this stamina. You think you're like elite on both sides of the ball. Stick to receiver. Stick to receiver. Put all your energy and focus on that side of the ball. When you do go to the NFL, you get paid more. It's an easier position. Stick to receiver, son, before you get hurt. I'm so disappointed because, and you know what's crazy? Colorado beat Nebraska last season. Nebraska has improved drastically in a year. Colorado has not. Nebraska head coach Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers made incredible improvements over the last year. You mean to tell me Matt Rule and Nebraska can do that, but Deion and Colorado cannot? Deion has the name, he has the recognition, he has the name, he has everything. He can turn this team around. He should be able to, but he can't. Because I'm saying this right now, Deion Sanders is not a good coach. He doesn't know how to build a team. And to be quite honest, he doesn't look very competent out there. He doesn't. He doesn't look like a competent head coach. It seems like, and they can't run the football. You would think if my son is playing quarterback, I would do whatever it takes to beef up the offensive line, and I will do whatever it takes to give him a good fucking running game. The running game is non-existent. Non-existent. How can you win like that? I don't get it, man. Either he has an undying belief in his son, which you should. I'm a father too. I have an undying belief in my kids. But you can't be delusional. You can't do that, man. Shadur is great, but he doesn't have an offensive line to protect him. He doesn't have a running game to bail him out. He doesn't even have a safety blanket. He doesn't have an emergency blanket in a competent tight end. He has no tight end. He has no running game. He has no offensive line. How can you expect for your son to succeed at this level without any of those things? No tight end, no running game, no offensive line. And if you look at the defensive side of the ball, he has his son, Shiloh Sanders, masquerading as a fucking safety. He's no good. He broke his forearm today because he's not physical. He can't last out there. And if you think Shiloh is going to the NFL, you're sadly mistaken. No defensive line. The linebackers are absolute crash outs, burnouts. Like, this is pathetic. And I put a lot of hope and faith in them because Colorado and Deion Sanders, they've done one thing. They brought a lot of eyes and interest into the college game, and I'm thankful for that. They've made the season more exciting. You look forward to seeing them. Either you want them to succeed or you hate watching them. They bring eyes. And you want them to succeed because they'll continue to bring more eyes and more interest. It's good for the game. But now that they've been exposed as frauds, you're like, people are just going to tune them out now. People are just going to tune them the fuck out. Whenever Deion Sanders says something, they're like, yeah, whatever, nigga. Whenever they see like Shadur or Travis Hunter, like wearing their jewelry, popping off at the mouth, we're going to be, yeah, whatever, niggas, whatever. We don't care anymore. I expect for them to win next week. If they lose next week to Colorado State, after what my Texas Longhorns did to Colorado State last week, if they lose to Colorado State or it's somehow super close next week, stick the fork in them. It's done. All right, my brothers. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.